Can AI replace your therapist? That is a big question. And the answer is technically no, but argumentatively yes. And I'm going to approach that a little bit. I'm a mental health therapist, and this is research coming from Harvard. So, in Harvard Business Review, March 2025, they put out how people are really using generative AI now. And it compares really this year to last year, but specifically the uses of generative AI. And what came in, perhaps surprisingly or unsurprisingly, at number one is therapy slash companionship. So I think those are two huge categories and they put them into one. So that should show you that this is something. And it actually moved from the second spot last year. So it was really high last year, but this year it's the top spot. I have a whole page in front of me breaking this down, and a lot of the page is just quote from users talking about their perspective of it, which can be useful. And there's some other categorical things that are used on this page to discuss what is meant. I'll read the Harvard definition of this according to the article. Therapy provides emotional support and guidance through conversation and connection. Generative AI can assist by offering virtual companionship, providing a listening ear, and generating empathetic responses to support individuals in their healing journey. Should you use AI for your own therapy? No. This is going to be up for debate, and I have therapists. As some of you who watch this know, I lead trainings on therapy and business quite often, actually every week. And that's a question that comes up sometimes, is job security with AI. My view on this is always twofold. There's no such thing as job security. Just to be clear, actually the closest you can get to job security is your ability to do a job. If you know how to work and you show up on time and you do your job well and you make your clients or customers happy, you are desired as a human being in the workforce. So while your specialty might have issues and while you might take pay cuts, your ability to work is ultimately what job security is. So, that should be the concern for most people is, can you do a job? Do you know how to work and be respectful of employer, coworkers, and customers/clients? The question of fields getting pushed out, we've seen this with concern with Amazon and putting robots in and replacing humans. That is, I think, what people are typically referring to with job security. Will AI or robots replace the need for the specific work that I do? The interesting thing with therapy is the answer is explicitly no, but I don't know if the general public is tuned in enough to accept that. What do I mean? A robot can just do it, right? We can have conversations. If you watch my video from earlier this week, we talked about physical touch, hugs, and massages specifically, and how they reduce physical pain. Massages, obviously, hugs also reduce physical pain. In both physical massages and, well, they're all physical, I guess. Skin to skin, hand massages, people push in on you, and hugs also increase self-esteem and reduce depression. My belief around the self-esteem aspect is as depression and perhaps anxiety as well goes down, your sense of self increases because you're less in your head about negative things regarding you. But what they found when they tested massages with robots is that physical pain decreased on a robot massage, but there's much less psychological effect. And I think this is what we will find with AI and using generative AI, like ChatGPT and all these, and Grok and all this to do therapy, is it'll be smart, but it won't be intelligent and it won't be human. And that's just an issue I have with languaging is, to me, artificial intelligence is an oxymoron because intelligence is complicated and difficult and it can't really be artificial. And if something's artificial, it can't be intelligent because it's just doing what it's taught. There's no, what would you call it? There's no actual, doesn't really learn. It learns what it knows. So the real question is, can it create, ideas on its own? And if it can't create ideas on its own, then it's not your therapist. It's just gathering from textbooks. That doesn't mean it can't be useful. I actually think you can get a lot of mental health help through internet searches. And at the end of the day, these generative AIs, at least at the moment, they're advanced internet searches. They're conversational and they learn from you, but they only know what they're given. It just gathers information that's given. And you could argue, yes, humans do that, though. We just pull from info that we have. The difference is there's not really an originality in thought, and there's not a human element there. The AI doesn't really care about you. And you can absolutely find therapists who don't, let me be clear. But the real oomph of mental health care, especially things like trauma work and child development, it comes from humans interacting with humans. I believe it was Carl Jung who, I'm going to get the quote wrong, so I'm going to say it as best I can, who addressed, at the end of the day, you can know everything about therapy and the mind, but the face-to-face session with a human is one soul touching another. It's not going to happen with robots. So we have to understand the extent of that utility. And weirdly enough, the general public is not well educated on therapy. There's a lot of people who are. But you get this when you do phone calls with people and you say your price and they don't understand, why would you cost 150 while that person costs 80? There's lots of reasons for that, but some of it is experience and wherewithal and what you're doing, and you're specialized. Because a lot of people just see it as, well, you're just talking to someone. And frankly, a lot of therapists, well, at the end of the day, they are just talking, and they're glorified conversationalists. But most of us, what we're supposed to be doing is therapy, which is not a conversation. It's a science-based clinical approach to mental health. It's what it's supposed to be. It's not always that, but that is what it's supposed to be. Just like AI can't be a doctor. It can find information and sometimes be even smarter than your doctor, but the intelligence in the human part is not going to be there. So I don't really have a problem with people using both. I've actually had clients who chat with ChatGPT about their problems and then bring in the conversation for us to talk about it. And I think that's the idea, is if you can use these systems as conversations and tools that can then benefit your actual human experience, great. Don't let it supplement, though. So this is a 100-page Harvard Business Review going over, is it the top 100 uses for AI, which is kind of crazy. It's a lot. Yeah. Planning workouts is number 100. So yeah, if you want to see it, I'll link it below, but it's interesting and it's very approachable. And I think you can probably find some more summarized data other than 104 pages actually by the time you get through all of it. But it's just interesting. So it's something to think about. I'm curious for people listening if you think the world of therapy is going to be replaced by AI or if it's going to be integrative in some way. I'm actually very curious to hear what people think, especially if you are a therapist, if you fear for job security, or if you're a client or someone looking for therapy. Does the move in AI make you feel like you could just start with that and see if it's more helpful than the therapist? I'm curious. So yeah, that is the update there. So do with that what you will. See ya.